This is whose place?
Our company,
Huh?
Sigma Engineers.
Sigma? Who's the owner of the company?
Say Tamjid Rahman.
Huh?
Tamjid
Tamjid.
Rahman. Some Bangladeshi guy.
A Bangladeshi? How long now he owned this place? How long?
6 or 7 months.
The PPP is so corrupt that they will try to benefit from any and everything that they put their hands on, even something like a ball field in a residential area.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you're looking for the fast track to being well informed, well, you're in the right place. Today, we are tearing into a really specific, a highly detailed stack of source materials. It deals with a pretty explosive issue: the conflict between public land rights, super fast private development, and some really serious allegations of government corruption.
Right.
So our mission today is to give you the full picture of the situation around the Eccles community ground. This was a space, meant for the public, but the sources allege it's been misappropriated.
Systematically, yeah.
We'll be looking at the proof of land reduction, who the new occupants are, and the political claims that tie this whole local issue right to the national administration.
It's a classic case, really. It shows how public spaces can just vanish almost before residents even realize what's happening.
So where exactly are we talking about?
The location is the Eccles community ground, and the sources are crystal clear on its original purpose. This land was, and I'm quoting here, earmarked for the people of Eccles, the children and the residents, to play and exercise on a daily basis.
So a community asset.
A permanent community asset, meant for safety, for recreation, for thousands of local people, who the sources often call the Jakey people.
Okay, so let's get into this central complaint. You've got this huge piece of land for community use, and the main issue that starts this whole thing is that the public ground is now suddenly divided.
Exactly. And you can't miss the evidence.
Right, because the speed of the change is the first just massive red flag.
It is. Our sources show new, pretty substantial industrial buildings. We're talking factories, storage facilities, just there on this land.
And the timeline for construction.
Less than a year.
Wow.
When residents see public land turned into private industrial property that fast, suspicion is, well, it's automatic. And frankly, it's warranted.
I would agree. That kind of speed suggests either a complete lack of oversight or, as the residents seem to be suggesting, some extremely high-level help. If we look at the documents, the original plans, what was the scale of this space supposed to be?
And that's where the facts really ground us. According to the map shown to the residents, the ball field alone was supposed to be massive. It was supposed to measure 404 feet by 330 feet.
So that's not just a little patch of grass.
No, not at all. That's a significant, professionally documented recreational area. It was central to the community.
So rapid construction, a divided plot of land, loss of a key resource. Who do the sources point the finger at? They don't seem to be holding back.
They absolutely are not. The core accusation is aimed squarely at the PPP government. That's the governing political party in power.
And the claim is?
The claim is that they're allegedly benefiting from any and everything that they put their hands on, including this specific piece of community land.
That's pretty direct.
The language is dramatic. They use phrases like robbing the Jade people of their land.
Okay, that is strong language. Now, to verify these kinds of claims, you need more than just words. You need physical proof.
Which is what they did. Someone actually went out and measured the land's boundaries themselves.
With a measuring tape.
Yep. Real shoe leather reporting. They started from the agreed-upon eastern side of the original ground.
And this is where it shifts from just an allegation to something quantifiable.
Exactly. The map, the one everyone saw, clearly said the east to west measurement should have been 404 feet.
404 feet. Got it.
That length should have stretched all the way across the open field to the road on the other side.
And here's where it gets interesting, because the reality on the ground just doesn't match the record.
Not even close.
What was the actual measurement they took?
From the new fence on the east to the boundary on the west, it was only 274 feet.
Wait, 274. So that's a difference of
130 feet.
That is a gargantuan discrepancy.
It's a huge loss. You really have to pause and try to visualize that. 130 feet. That's like the length of 4 school buses parked end to end.
4 school buses. Wow.
That whole chunk of land, which was meant for public use, it's vanished from the public domain. And it's now occupied by private industry.
And the sources make it clear how jarring this was. They describe the land before all this as totally open.
Yeah, the quote is, "It wasn't fenced. It was all open and nobody was living there. It was the ground all the time."
The shift from that wide open, accessible space to fenced off factories must have felt like it happened overnight.
Well, it creates a real sense of betrayal. This land was for soccer games, for daily exercise. Now that 130-foot void is filled with buildings, which kind of validates the residents' whole claim.
So 130 feet are gone. What's actually sitting there now? Who are these new occupants?
The people doing the verification, they were actually able to speak to personnel on the site.
Yeah.
They identified the company operating there as Sigma Engineer.
Sigma Engineers, okay.
The sources named the owner as a Tamjit Rahman, who was identified as a Bangladeshi, and the personnel there confirmed that the company had allegedly had the land for just 6 or 7 months.
6 or 7 months? That lines up perfectly with the less than a year construction claim.
It does. The speed is shocking.
But what must be truly alarming for the parents there is the contrast, The land's purpose was for children to play, and its new function is a factory and storage area.
And this is where the land dispute turns into a major safety crisis. You have kids living right next to heavy industrial activity.
What kind of activity are we talking about?
The sources are specific. They detail highly dangerous elements, right, where children used to play. We hear about container pipes all climbing up.
Okay.
And the constant movement of a forklift moving, turning, and then there's this steel rod packing up, stacking up.
Steel rods, forklifts. That's not just an inconvenience. That's actively dangerous for a small child who might just wander over.
It's terrifying. It's a total reversal of a safe space. You have to imagine what a parent feels seeing their community's only playground turn into a loading dock.
Yeah.
The area designated for safe play is now, it's a site of inherent danger. The sources are explicit that these items are a hazard to kids.
And I imagine it's disrupted the whole community.
Completely. Beyond the direct danger, it's a logistical mess. We learn that the operations block the road, forcing people to drive around these huge obstacles.
So you can't even get around easily.
No. And now, residents often have to stand up and walk right here, which means they have to navigate right next to this active, dangerous worksite just to get to their homes.
It's like turning a residential street into an industrial obstacle course.
That's a good way to put it. The community ground wasn't just a place to play, it was a buffer zone. And that buffer is now an operational hazard.
So all this undeniable physical evidence, the disruption, it all lays the groundwork for some of the most serious political allegations.
Right.
We've established the land transfer was fast and benefited private interests. But where does the community believe the order for this came from?
Well, the rumor heard within the community is explosive. It points right to the highest office.
Which is?
That the president himself gifted these lands to his friends and family.
Okay, that allegation takes this far beyond a local zoning issue.
It does. When residents believe the head of state is personally involved in giving away public land for private profit, it creates a massive crisis of public trust.
It suggests the government isn't just inefficient, but is actively working against its own people.
Exactly.
And given how severe that claim is, the residents weren't quiet about it. The sources detail a direct public demand for some accountability.
They want transparency. The speaker in the source material specifically wants the president to explain to us how these buildings in such a short time were built on the Eccles community ground.
They want to know what really happened here, what transpired here.
It's a challenge to the entire administration, really.
And it speaks volumes that they're demanding an explanation for the speed as much as for the construction itself.
Absolutely. That quickness is seen as the proof of high-level involvement. And they offer a solution, which shows they understand the difference between public and private assets.
What's the challenge they put forward?
They say, if you want, Mr. President, you give them your land at Lenora, which seems to be another private property. The demand is explicit. Don't give away public spaces, for example, community grounds.
That is a powerful way to frame it. Use your own resources for your friends, but leave the public's resources alone.
Yeah.
And the sources suggest that, unfortunately, this Eccles case might not be a one-off thing.
No, it seems it could be part of a broader pattern. The material wraps up by noting claims of more community grounds, where entire community grounds were just taken and sold or gifted.
So Eccles might just be the most visible example of a systemic problem.
It seems that way. A problem affecting public trust across multiple areas.
Okay, let's summarize the key takeaways for you. We've looked at the Eccles community ground, an intended public space that residents claim was, well, stolen.
The physical evidence is stark. Measurements confirm the intended 404-foot ball field was cut down to just 274 feet. That's 4 school bus lengths of space. Just gone.
And in its place, this rapid industrial development run by Sigma engineers, which immediately brought severe, life-threatening safety hazards, forklifts, massive pipes, stacking steel rods right into a residential area meant for kids.
Which in turn created logistical nightmares and daily risks for everyone living there.
And finally, the sources outline these direct and very serious political allegations that the land transfer came from the highest level of government, allegedly the president himself, and residents are demanding a transparent explanation for this conversion of a community asset into private profit.
So here's the final thought for you to consider. Beyond the loss of the ball field, beyond the industrial hazards, what is the long-term invisible cost?
The cost to what?
To community cohesion, to public trust. What happens when land meant for everyone is converted so quickly, so unilaterally, for private use? If a community can't rely on its highest office to protect its most basic public spaces, what happens to their faith in governance at all? That loss of faith is much harder to measure than 130 feet, but it's potentially far more damaging.